Hi, Facebook. It's Kyle Kittleson and...
Brianna Alvarez.
Perfect. I love that we said our last names.
Because they need to know.
They need, for sure they need to know. The jingling in the background is my dog Callie, who now has a toy, and we'll probably destroy that if we don't take it away from her. We just finished a session with a client who had a leash reactive dog, meaning that when the dog is on leash, it will often lunge, growl, and kind of go crazy when it sees other dogs. But it was really successful. We started the session with the dog, like, not even able to see Callie from probably
like
10, 15 across the street without freaking out. And then we ended the session with them passing each other, no problems, one passing the other, no problems, very calm, cool, collected. So it was a really good session. So good job.
Thanks.
You ran that session, so that's all her. I was just taking credit for her training. Okay, so today we're talking to you guys about how to get your dog ready for Halloween. We have 2 quick tips, which should be no-brainers, but just in case we're going to tell you. And then we have some big advice on how to prep your dog if they freak out with hearing the doorbell, having people come over, loud noises, all of that stuff. We're going to give you some advice for that. So why don't you take it away with our first easy tip?
Obviously, candy is not good for dogs, so keep it away from the dogs.
Yes. If only to avoid a vet bill that is going to be so much money when your dog accidentally ends up eating a ton of gum or chocolate.
Candy wrappers.
Or candy wrappers, yeah, like Callie would probably just eat the pillowcase that it came in. So make sure you get that candy away, put it away immediately, because you will forget about it, your kids will be a distraction, and your dog is smart and will go over there and eat it. It will get sick, you will have a big vet bill. Nothing you want at any point of the year, but especially around the holidays. All right, that's easy tip number 1. Easy tip number 2 is if you are going to dress your dog up in a costume, please make sure that it is loose fitting so that your dog can breathe, because it is likely going to be hot and moving around in that costume. But also make sure that you don't crate your dog in that costume and you don't leave it on for very long. I was shocked to learn years ago, and I don't know if you know this, that every year, I forget the number, but it's like over 1,000 or something, dogs or puppies die because they are in a crate with a collar, and the collar gets stuck on a crate, and they end up suffocating and getting strangled. So when you're crating your dog, no collar, no costumes, just have your dog be naked. Naked is more better here for the crate process. So those are our first 2 easy tips. All right, now on to the big stuff. If you have a dog that is really gets really hyped up when they hear the doorbell, knock on the door, or when people come over, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is try to prevent that from happening by doing these 2 things. 1, exercise your dog heavily. If you know you're going to get trick-or-treaters at 5 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, start exercising your dog, running them, getting that heart rate up, so that by the time 5 o'clock rolls around, they're too tired to even care that there's kids dressed up as firefighters in front of their house. The second thing you want to do is a training session about 4:30, 4:45. People really forget that you have to mentally enrich your dog as well as physically exercise your dog. And when you do those things together, it solves a ton of behavioral problems by itself. You don't even have to do any training because your dog is mentally stimulated and physically exercised. And then the last thing for the preventative is once they're physically exercised, mentally enriched, then give them a puzzle toy or a Kong with frozen peanut butter in it so that they have another thing to keep them occupied while people are knocking on the door, you know, and saying trick or treat. If you do those things, you're going to be less likely to have a dog that freaks out when someone comes over. But if you do, and you want to do some preventative training, what can they do? What would you do?
I would probably crate the dog and then practice, like, doorbell, and if they don't react to it, then they can get a treat in the crate.
Actually, on my Facebook page, yesterday or the day before, I talked about something similar. People are really consistent with their training, they utilize positive reinforcement, and they aren't seeing results, and they're really confused. And the reason they're not seeing results is because they're not setting up actual training sessions. They only deal with their dog ignoring the doorbell when somebody comes over and the doorbell rings. But they don't set up a session that is scheduled during the day where they say, all right, I'm going to go ring that doorbell, and if my dog doesn't bark, I'm going to reward them for not barking. Mm-hmm. They never do that. They only do it when it, like, happens randomly. And so I think by doing, like, setting up those sessions in advance, what is today? What's the date? Like the 25th?
Yeah, something like that, 27th.
Yeah. You got a few days before Halloween. In 4 days, you could train your dog to not bark when the doorbell rings. So explain exactly how they would do that.
Yeah, so I have my clients randomly ring the doorbell, like, before meals. So the doorbell's paired with getting fed away from the door.
Yeah.
And then stop reinforcing as soon as you come home in the door. Like, don't add a whole bunch of reinforcement right in that door area. So that way they're looking somewhere else for all of that, like, fun, happy, like, oh, yeah, say hi to mom, but over here in the living room, not right by the front door.
Yeah, really smart. And all animals, people included, will gravitate to wherever the rewards are coming from. So if your dog gets a lot of attention at the entryway to your house, if your dog gets new visitors at the entryway of your house, and that's where they get to meet and greet with them, your dog is going to gravitate toward that part of your house. But if, like Brianna said, people come in and then the dog gets all the attention in the living room, when that doorbell rings, that becomes the new cue for go to the living room because something amazing is going to happen in the living room rather at the doorway. Yeah, really good. What else could they do in like 4 days?
Let's see. I don't know. I mean,
and if you did that, that would be pretty good.
That's like usually my go-to.
Yeah, if
redirecting the meaning of the doorbell.
If you don't want to put in the work for 4 days, I totally get it. We're very busy, but if you don't want to put in the work in for 4 days to train your dog to ignore the doorbell and all those things, what you could do as well is just for the night of trick-or-treating, take your dog outside. Most dogs, if they can see what's going on and people are approaching consistently to trick-or-treat, are not going to freak out every time. It is this conditioned response to the doorbell that your dog is reacting to, not the act of somebody walking up to the door, in most cases. So if you just wanted to ignore that altogether, take a long lounge chair, a cooler of beer, and your dog, and sit outside and put the candy out there. You won't have any problems. What were you going to say?
Yeah, leashing or tethering the dog in the house.
Yeah.
So it can't even get the opportunity to go up to the door.
Right.
And then rewarding it for... Same thing like in the crate, like rewarding it for not reacting or staying calm. Yeah, people are so concerned with telling their dog when their dog is doing something wrong. I mean, they harp on it. They make sure that when their dog is doing something wrong, they tell them. But then those same people never tell their dog when they're doing something good. Most of the people that I talk to, I'll ask them like, okay, what do you want to work on with training? And they're like, I want my dog to understand what no means.
Yeah, that first thing.
Why?
Yeah. I go, you should get your dog to understand what good means.
Yeah.
Or they say, what do you want to accomplish? And they say, well, I want my dog to stop barking. And I go, great. So what we're going to train is your dog to start being quiet. Like, that's the way you need to look at it. What is my dog doing that I want to see more of? Not how can I stop my dog from doing something that I don't like chewing up your stuff. Callie, you don't see what's going on. Callie has a stuffed animal that she's about to go chew up. You can go grab her from her. If she sees a stuffed animal, all bets are off because she doesn't get them at home, so she gets so excited. So here are the 2 stuffed animals we've collected during the broadcast that Callie has brought to our attention. All right. Guys, if you have specific dog training questions, feel free to leave your comments right here. You can also go to Tully's Training. Callie, please don't. You can also go to tullystraining.com, and if someone wants to write tullystraining.com in the comments, please do. And you can take advantage of a free consultation. If you're not in Los Angeles, San Diego, or Seattle, that's okay. We can still work with you. In fact, Brianna will be the one working with you more than likely. So go ahead and sign up for a free consultation. We get to hear more about the problems you're having, exactly how to help you, and we can tell you exactly during the consultation what that looks like and how will be of a benefit to you and your dog. All right, so that's it. Any other words?
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, baby. All right, happy Halloween. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.